Take a look at all these bumblebees. They're just slowly waking up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's one under there, 6.
Oh man, it's been a rough night.
I know what they feel like.
Oh,
Finally.
I drank way too much honey last night.
Yeah, you could tell it's pretty chilly now in the mornings, but we have to collect some of the plants that are not so hardy to our zone because unfortunately it's that time of the year where in 2 more days it's going to be 50 degrees in the nice part of the day, which is 10 degrees Celsius, and then more like 35 to 40 degrees, which is like 6 to 8 degrees Celsius. So I've been pushing it with these euphorbias right here. You can see that they've colored up. They might actually have had a little bit of cold damage. We'll have to see when we pull them in. We also have to be careful that we're not taking in ants or anything in here as well. And then I'm also gonna get the pelargoniums, see what they look like. So these euphorbia I typically take in and I put them in this house, but most of the other plants I'm gonna be having to take in and put in my little bird coop. And I have to make sure that they don't eat them. It's part of the reason why I don't have the euphorbia there, because these are quite toxic. And I found that Peepo, my little diamond dove, has a distinct pleasure in removing and ripping out my plants. I think he gets hungry for greens. These are some of the pelargoniums. Oftentimes they get knocked down from this area, but we're gonna be cutting these down anyway. I might have to remove some from the pot or actually add a little bit of substrate. There's one that I don't think survived. I found it flat with the stem cracked. We get like raccoons and things that come through and we see them on the game cameras. They just really like to screw with stuff. Okay, so here's one that seems very protected. This was underneath a spiky rubus bush. So let me just show you this one. Could get some dead bits off. Well, basically, we're going to be cutting these down. And then this one, which I think got also pushed down and you could see broken. Now, if I could find that piece, I would actually like to glue it, but I don't know if I could find that piece. This is the one that I'm referring to. This is the one that got flat knocked down.
By the cold?
No, by the raccoon. It was like this. So we'll see, we'll cut it back. I'll see if there's any like live bits in there. So Sandra and I just moved the table over here because it's easier to work with a little bit of light. All right, let's see what we have here. We'll take this first round. You can see that there's some dead bits right here. It probably got cold damaged because we had hit some nights where it was a little chillier. It's amazing because once you start taking these in, you'll see this kind of orange hue on this Tiracoli and this Platyclada, but as soon as you start to bring it indoors, it starts to green up because all that stress is gone. All right, so this one will be the easiest one, and you can see that there's not much substrate left because it was probably knocked over or dug in. So I'm just gonna make a cut these off. Seems a little dramatic, but I think this is dead anyway. And then I'm just getting them back to a small little nub. So then that way it could survive through the winter months. And I'll have to just water them just a little bit. Just gonna break up the roots a little bit. Just add a little bit more substrate in here. And again, I'm just trying to keep these alive through the winter months. I don't have like a greenhouse or anything like that. So we're gonna be putting them in a little heated coop. I'll water these in one final time before we actually put them to bed for the winter. You can see that it kind of got pulled out, so you have the roots. There's just a few roots hanging on here and this kind of stem that comes up. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna cut it just like that. Pull it out. If I ever find this, maybe I will These aren't really high fired, and it would be nice to actually find it to see if I could glue it, but this one was unfortunate because I really like these pots, and you want to have something nice, but with wild animals outside, it's a bit of a challenge. These are also kind of challenging pots because they go wide and then they go thin again, and you have to kind of get all the plant roots out. So let's see this root. I mean, actually, there's quite a lot of roots here. So, you know, those look like they have actually been gnawed off. So we're going to put that one. I might put a couple in this pot. Let's try this one. This is the one that I was most worried about because it was flat on its face. Let's see if I can cut it. See, this looks dead. No, it looks dead. Let's just pull it out. I don't think that's worth even attempting to save. It's all dead bits, so you could see it's just cracked. So this one has not survived, unfortunately. It had a really good root structure though. See, that's all well rooted. So let's get that pot back because we're gonna have to be pulling these pots in as well. Some of these pots are not rated for outdoor temperature. So when it gets to winter and it's icy, they could actually crack. This one was a beautiful one. This one flowered quite a lot for me. This was Geranium Bird Dancer. I almost feel terrible cutting this back because it's actually quite prolific. But let's do it. I'm going back to like one of these growing tip nodes right here. So you could, you could cut it back to maybe this little one right here. Let's start with this. This one would be nice as a bonsai, I think. Let's take out all the dead bits first and see what we got going. So all this stuff looks really great. I mean, this is where you could probably take a tip cutting, right? You'd cut off maybe some of these, like that, the side branches, and then you could take a tip cutting, like right here, and then you could root that.
You landed it on the camera.
But we're not gonna do that because we're not really set up for it quite yet. But I'm gonna just cut it right back behind here at this branch so you can see the branches that are growing out, and maybe cut off a couple more leaves. And that's what we're gonna use to store it. And I'm gonna keep it in this pot. And it doesn't look like anybody kind of touched that pot. So we'll keep it just like that. All right, this one was also great. I think this one's an apple blossom. We'll cut off some of the dead bits. And this is perfect. I'm gonna cut it right behind here. And I'll cut this chunky stem right off. This one looks like it got slugs right here, this kind of goo. I'll keep it in this pot though. I think that looks good. It hasn't been really messed with. This one had a really interesting form. It kind of grew like this the whole time. I think it account for the sunlight. You could see that it looks like it's about to flower already, which is pretty cool. And there's a lot of dead bits on here. Let's see, I'm gonna cut this whole guy off. If you can't tell already, geraniums do good with a little haircut. I'll definitely, when I have a better place to keep these, I could see myself starting to collect some pelargoniums. Now, this is pretty well rooted, but you can see it's lost a little bit of the substrate below. So I'm just gonna tease the roots out a bit, kind of mesh them up, add a little bit of fresh Espoma potting medium. This is the succulent soil. And I'm just gonna add a little bit to the top. Now there's a couple more plants that I wanna take a look at since these pelargoniums are up and running. And it's this one. This is not a hardy succulent. I have quite a bit of hardy succulents that are out. You can see that this got some damage from the cold or the wet. So I might just take a few cuttings of this. I noticed that one of the plants that's probably like hardy to like a zone 8, but that got ripped out, but is actually flowering right now. Look at this. It got dug out, but look at that flower. Just goes to show you how resilient these plants are. So what I might do is put it into another pot. This is a beautiful pot that I got at White Flower Farm. It's one of the places I like to go for beautiful pots. We actually did a tour of White Flower Farm on our other channel, Flock Finger Lake, so I'll link to that. Such a glorious space. They have wonderful trial gardens, very beautiful. As you can see, there's new growth here. Look at how beautiful that flower is. And the stamens that are coming off of it. I think I did have some tulip bulbs planted in here at some point, but that's probably why the animals dug it up. Now this one is definitely not hardy to our zone, but I have never taken this in out of the cold and housed this indoors. So I'll try it. I'm not sure if it'll comply or like to be in the bird coop with my birds, but we'll see. But I just know that it's not going to survive in the next 2 days out in this freezing temperature. Now the other things that I have to take down, it was really funny because one of our friends was over. They're like, you could grow Spanish moss here? And I was like, nah, I take that in the winter months. I've found that air plants do so much better giving them some time outdoors. Like, look how healthy this looks. If I had this indoors all the time, like, I would not be able to grow it. You could see some of the green parts in there. This may have even flowered at some point. This looks really healthy. I fertilize it once in the beginning of the season, and then I just let it sit out here. In the winter months, they struggle a little bit, but springtime is just around the corner. I think they all look really good. There's one exception though. I found one that was fell down from the tree, maybe in like a windstorm, and my Funkiana. I forgot I have to take these in too. Let's grab. I have a lot of indoor plants that are outside right now. So I'll show you this Funkiana. This is what fell, and I found it on the ground. So it was kind of trampled on. It was in the mulch, which is probably not the best place for it, but there's quite a bit of Funkianas that are doing quite well. So, and then this guy. So these are the aloe variegatas. I think this is too big of a pot for it, for how many are in here. Looks like some got ripped apart. So those two look pretty good. I think I'm going to add a little bit more perlite to this mix. And you could use your choice of drainage material. There's vermiculite, there's lava stone. Let's use this to mix it up. These are some of my favorite aloes. They're so cute. This is the ones that we got. These are the offshoots of the one that we got at Baker's Acres like a long time ago. And for this one, kind of seems like an overkill planter to have this in. I am literally just going to take bits of this, just like this. That is what I'm going to use to repropagate this. So it feels as if I'm taking the plant apart, and I am. And then we'll just replant this. And we'll use the ones that don't have any type of damage on their succulent leaves, because as you can see, there's a lot of damage, cold damage. I had this out really early on in the spring when it still wasn't quite warm. I'll take maybe a little over half a dozen just so I have some safety in case some of these don't actually root. You can see that these are actually rooting right here from an old leaf. So that is kind of what you're going to get. Yeah, any of these little bits where it has cuts or any type of rot, I wouldn't want to take those. And basically at the base of these, you have meristematic region. A meristematic region is just a region where the cells aren't differentiated yet. And that means it could become leaves, it could become roots. But once you rip it off its own roots, it's going to prioritize roots for it to grow. Now, it might be challenging because they may not grow as well in the winter months. They'll just be stationary for quite some time. And I'm going to start this over again. Just goes to show you that plants always have a fountain of youth. They just continue to grow over and over again, even long after they look tired. You could constantly take cuttings, offsets, and then I'll be able to store this planter in for the winter as well. Now, I have quite a number of aloes as well. Some of them are hardy, some of them are not. These two are hardy, Havardiana Perryi, and that's a truncata. It's like there's quite a lot of weeds growing in here, and then also a little lavender, strangely enough. This one is not hardy, so I'm gonna have to take this in. Looks like it had some damage at the tips. So this is gonna have to come in, has really nice offsets right there. And then a number of these aloes in the back. So these have colored up really nicely. Look at the flowers. I didn't even see those before. This one's just starting to spike. Look how beautiful. This yucca filiform is actually hardy to our zone, believe it or not. This one is Mongave praying hands, definitely not hardy to our zone. And this one was hardy, but you could see this one looks like it got water damaged. You could see all the black spot on this. So that one I probably won't be able to take in. I might have to discard this, which is unfortunate. And this is a hardy plant. It could have happened during the time when we had so much rain during the springtime. So that is something that you have to be conscious of. It does have a pretty well-draining mix, but the combination of the rain, the heat, the water, you don't know exactly what it is. I can't have pinpointed this. Anyway, here's these guys still chilling out on the Sedum Autumn Joy. And I think that's it for now. I'm gonna start taking these in. It might be getting cold where you are as well. Be sure to get in all of your plants that are not cold hardy. I'll tell you what, fall is here, and in just a couple more days, it's going to be freezing temperatures. So I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. As you may have heard, we're doing guided group botanical tours throughout the world, and a spot just opened up on our Costa Rica trip for December 2025. And we have a handful of spots to our Japan trip in fall of 2026. And if you're interested in Thailand, join our waitlist so we can determine whether we're going to do a second trip in 2026 or 2027. Information is on homesteadbrooklyn.com. Just click on the Learn tab and then scroll to Botanical Tours, or click the link in the description below the video. In the meantime, check out our online botanical courses like the Houseplant Masterclass, all at homesteadbrooklyn.com and houseplantmasterclass.com. We'll also be showcasing some amazing tours in the next videos, which are not to be missed. So stay tuned here and hit the like button to help the channel grow. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next video.